Hello and welcome to Wednesday's programme.
Coming up tonight between now and 6:30.
Good evening. The funeral of a 7-year-old girl killed while playing in the snow in Cornwall took place today. Maisie Duncan from Lou was hit by a car outside her home during Storm Emma earlier this month.
Her family asked people to wear her favourite colour pink to the service, which took place at St Martin's Church. Well, Steve Hardy is in Lou for us tonight. Steve, understandably, this has affected the whole town. Tributes to Maisie Duncan in that report by Steve Hardy there. Next tonight, there are calls for an inquiry into how the former owner of a school in Dorset was able to get away with abusing boys for years without being prosecuted.
Robin Lindsay was the head teacher of one of the country's leading private schools, Sherborne Prep. During his career, Lindsay was often dismissed as a harmless eccentric, but in fact, he was a fixated paedophile who abused countless numbers of his pupils.
Former pupils have spoken to this programme after an ITV documentary exposed Lindsay's activities. They're now being backed by Sherborne's MP, who says an investigation must take place. Claire Manning reports.
Let's bring you some other news from the region now. Staff at South Western Railway have voted for more strikes in a long-running dispute over guards on trains. The RMT...
An extra 90 medical students are to be trained at the University of Exeter each year. It follows a successful...
Next on the programme, fishermen in Plymouth say they feel let down by MPs after it was agreed there would be no changes in the industry until 2020. That's 21 months after Britain leaves the EU.
Today, former UKIP leader Nigel Farage led a protest against the decision, discarding fish into the River Thames by the Houses of Parliament. Richard Lawrence reports.
And you are watching ITV News here in the West Country with Kylie and Jonty still ahead on the programme before 6:30.
And after us, the ITV News continues with the national and the international stories at 6:30. Alistair Stewart has the details. But next tonight, it is World Down Syndrome Day. There are around 40,000 people with the condition in the country, and families from across our region have taken part in a video inspired by comedian James Corden's Carpool Karaoke to raise awareness of the condition. And among them is Tiffany Smith and her son Alfie. We'll be talking to them both in a moment, but first, here's the video that has generated such huge interest across the world. Well, Tiffany and Alfie, who you saw in that video there, have joined us. We're keeping Alfie entertained. You're doing your job there. Just, Tiffany, start by telling us, it's fantastic, isn't it? It's such a lovely watch.
So, of course, then we got to getting somebody to organise it all, a spreadsheet.
What have you made of all the reaction to it? Because it's really taken off.
It's been incredible. It's been shared amongst the Down syndrome community. But the fact that it's gone completely viral and has reached so many other families.
It's having an absolute ball in our studio. I think there's some misconceptions around Down syndrome.
Very much. I mean, the purpose of the video was to... There are medical issues. There are times when it is very difficult and hospital stays and...
There are a lot of things that people still don't know, and this video has kind of started different conversations. We were watching the video, we think, oh, well, we didn't know perhaps that some parents have to use sign language for their children.
Yeah, of not being able to communicate, to give them the Makaton, to give them the Makaton as a tool to...
That's the absolutely wonderful Tiffany and Alfie as well. Yeah. And tomorrow we will be hearing from other families who have children with Down syndrome. We meet...
Bit of football for you now, and Exeter City got their League Two promotion push back on track even with a win at Port Vale, the home side. Now, tickets go on sale later this week for Matilda, the musical, which is heading to Plymouth next January. Now, the award-winning production is expected to attract record audiences to the city's Theatre Royal. It is, of course, inspired by Roald Dahl's famous book about the little girl with a very big imagination who transforms her life. 4 young actresses will share the lead role, as Jane Hesketh now reports. Looks like a lot of fun. Now, do you know what links children's favourites Elmer the Elephant and Mr Ben with Plymouth? Well, it is the author of both series, that's David McKee, who was born in Tavistock before growing up in the city. Well, soon one of David's creations will hit the streets of Plymouth as the centrepiece of an arts trail. Well, we can speak to one of the artists who's behind one of the designs, Brian Pollard, who joins us now. There's a bit of a hint next to you, Mr Pollard. What a name, Brian. Just describe what we can see on the elephant this evening.
Well,
with next year. Brian, thanks very much indeed.
So it is officially spring, but is the weather going to get spring-like? There was a bit of sun today, but
Yeah,
not
it's
great.
been quite nice, hasn't it? Many will be hoping it's going to pick up, especially with those Easter holidays creeping around the corner. Farms will be praying for better weather too, and we sent Kate to a farm in Somerset this evening. So, Kate, have you been lending a hand?
Kate, thank you very much indeed. Well, that's it from us this evening. I'll be back, though, with the late news. That's at 10:30.
Now, though, we'll hand you to Alistair Stewart as the ITV News continues. From all of us, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.